Hello everyone, welcome to my next video, and today I would like to talk about my new plugin called Nexus Properties, which is a plugin that manages front-end properties and is basically simulating and managing relationship hierarchies, in particular tree-like hierarchies when you have a parent, children and also related. And then it just adds visualizations on top of it and automations to make it seamless to work with this. So let's get right into it. First of all, installation through brand. And then when you open the settings, the first thing is the directory scanning, where you can configure which directories this plugin should work on. By default, it uses asterisk here, and that means that it's going to work on all directories, which in most cases is what you want. Then the graph view has a lot of customizations, but it's not really that important right now. And the core properties here are parent, child, and related, which basically means that the parent is the parent property and child is child. Then we also support basis view, which you can configure with sorting and a lot of customizations. And then we have also rules here. If you know what Prisma Calendar is and how it works, is my calendar plugin. This is the same thing. So again, the same coloring settings and presets and rules. So first of all, you can configure color rules, then filtering, global filtering, and also presets. We will get to it. So let's get started using it. So first of all, let's create some nodes. Let's start with A, B, and C. So let's assign the child B and C. What you can see now is that first thing is that B has parent A automatically assigned and C has also parent A. And we can also see that they have been assigned related to each other because of this setting to auto-link siblings, because this is by default true. So it means that when we share the same parent, we are related, which makes sense. Now let's go over the graph view here. So this is just configurable through a Obsidian command, and I have already hotkeys on shortcuts. First is just the graph view, then it's in the sidebar, and we also support a hotkey to enlarge it and just toggle it so that you can see it better. But what we see here is again the relationships, and it's always rendered top down. So at the top is the biggest parent and downwards are children. Let's create some more nodes. So as you can see now we have a bit of a bigger structure. So we can either start from the top down. So it's always going to scan upwards and find the highest level parent. And you can also specify to start from this as the root. And it's going to, if there are multiple parents, which we support technically, but we have to choose one. So we're just going to choose the first one and navigate there. So you can use multiple parents if you want to, but it's going to complicate things and it's not the best thing. But if you accept the limitations, I think you can make it work either way. We also support rendering related here, which just as it sounds is renders related here, and we have also all related. What does that mean? Let me show you. If we create here I and we say that B and I are related, and we're going to again render related of C, and then all related is going to also include Y here for B. If we add another one, K, or you can see it here already, so it's going to render a more complex structure here. And it's just going to recursively do this for all the nodes. Now let's go over the graph view a bit more. What are the options here? So first of all, it's searching. This is just based on the node name. Then we also support filter presets here, which I already mentioned. So this is the same thing as in Prisma Calendar. You just use JavaScript here. Let's see it in action. Can add here a property hello world. And now if I actually render it with hello world, it's going to render it here. So we can configure that as preset here. I'm just going to fill it automatically. So this is again the filter presets logic from Prisma Calendar. We can also define top level filtering for all of the nodes, right? And then also the color rules to specify basically the certain nodes. Also the default one, we can change it. So everything is configurable here. Again, we support hover here. We can also remove relationship like this. So if we press this, it's going to remove the value here. So as you can see, it used to mark G, but now it's no longer there. So it's going to remove it from both E and G. So F is no longer there. It's not even here, right? But we can do it again for both F and G. E. Okay. So you can configure here whether to show the search bar and filter bar. Then also display properties. So here when I hover over it, it's going to display it. So for now we have configured the hello property. I can add here who, and if I configure it here, it's going to just render all of these, and these are clickable. So if I actually do last value and I link here D or A, for example, and I render here last value, I can click on it. So that's clickable. This is actually better to show it, so you can disable that if you don't like it. Also, you can also configure the width of the tooltip, so it can be wider or less wide. Also, this is the graph animation. Basically, whether when we render it initially, whether it's going to have any animation or not. I think these are just cosmetic details, and these heights and things, these are personal preferences, so I'm not going to show it all, because I think it adds no value. You can just play around with it and see it. So basically it's like how big this should be, how big the tooltip should be. The thing I want to show is called zoom mode. So when we click on something, this is called zoom mode. When I click on a node, and it's in zoom mode, so the one that is in zoom mode is focused. I did this based on, if you know what Elder Scrolls Skyrim is, skill tree, it is exactly what I tried to label it here. Basically when you're basically navigating like in Skyrim, and basically the one that is bringing focus is navigated, and top we display the context information. So you can navigate both sides, left, right and up, down. You can exit it with escape or just clicking here. And next thing is that, so when the node that is currently highlighted, it showcases all of its front matter properties as well as content. So you can hide that, you can hide the properties. For example here, you can see the content here, and this will be scrollable, so you can scroll through it. As you can see here. And so that is zoom mode. Another thing I want to show is called quick node creation. So we expose shortcuts to create parent, child and related, and I use this a lot. So basically create parent, let's actually do it from another tree. So new tree, let's call it S. So it's a standalone tree. Here we can use the create parent node as parent. It's going to assign it here, and it's also going to inherit its relationship. So value hello. If I remove it also, it's going to be disabled or removed. So the plugin detects when you delete the node, it's going to fix the from headers for you. So again, if I trigger the parent, now it's going to contain this value here. So I can also create child as child and as related. All of them are going to inherit it, and so here you can see it quite clearly. I really use this a lot because this way it's much more effortless to actually interlink nodes. Also, yeah, I forgot to add this here. You can also preview it. This is something like similar in Prisma Calendar, again the same tooltip, and you can also edit it here. You can also preview. You can also open the node, and you can also add related. Okay, let me show you how that works actually. If I create multiple related nodes here, related to, okay, so here, what I can do here is add parent and click this, and now if I just render related, it is child. So I can say, I can say that add related to this node. What does this now do is, these nodes are now related. So it's going to assign the from header property. So this is just quick actions. So parent, child, related. You can do everything here. You can also delete it here. So if you don't like this node, you can delete it. You need to force refresh, and now it's going to be there. So that's another thing. So these are the quick common actions. What I want to also show is the basis view. Okay, so this is the last thing. You can switch to it here. So the basis view, we are just using Obsidian basis. and it's just done that it understands the hierarchy of parent, child, and related here, and basically you can render it here. You can configure which properties to actually show them. So you can say hello. So you can configure everything here. You can also enable archived. So I use this a lot. And first of all, what I would do, because I use the basis view a lot. So I use both the graph view. So just what I would do is play around with the plugin. First of all, just use the shortcuts, create your own hierarchy of taxonomy. So like this. So once you have this, a real structure. So not configure some presets that I use the most, but yeah, and then in the basis view, just include the properties that you want there to be seen. So I have my own custom workflows there, and then you can also customize sorting here, so that it's actually sorted. And I use this because that's why I included it here. It's a bit technical because I cannot really know what kind of sorting you want up front, and you have to define the values here, but it's done in a way. I think this is pretty self-explanatory how it works. So I just copied what I have there, what I'm using. And this is not being currently applied, but as you can see here, you just name it somehow, then you configure the values. And so basically very high is 1 and so on. And then you just specify the same key here and the direction. And also I specify it based on the creation time as the secondary sort. But here, basically this is just a property called priority, and this priority can only have these values: very high, medium, low, and high, and basically then it's going to be sorted that way. So, and the archived here, because I'm using archiving workflows where I basically assign to nodes archive property like this, the checkbox. And so basically here what it does is that it's just going to let's actually archive this one. Let's go back to A. So it's not here anymore, but it's here. So the way I use this is, for example, I have goals and I have sub goals, and then I'm just displaying the child goals here, child sub goals, and then I archive them so they don't pollute me and I can access them here. These are the most critical things for this plugin. And okay, one more thing is, so you can include the properties here to which you want to see in the basis. But also you can specify them here. So path-based inclusion rules means that you can specify the properties like hello, but only for specific directories. So as it's seen here, you can specify for projects, I want to also see status and priority. I use this a lot because basically for goals, I have specific priorities. For tasks, I have specific properties for both goals and tasks. So I specify, so the ones that are shared, I specify them here, and then I just include the additional ones here. I'm still fully polishing the plugin in terms of the design because basically I'm focusing at the start on the core features which are already there, and I'm still exploring the best way to do this. So basically this was a highly experimental basis view, and I really actually like the result because it's very convenient to me to be able to access basis view this way. If you use the relationships with discipline and you have parent, related, child hierarchies, you can then access the basis view in your sidebar very easily, and you can always see everything. Plus it understands archived, it understands your custom properties workflows from Matter, and also you can see a graph view. So I think this is everything you need in terms of organization because it's literally in your sidebar, everything. So it's ready for early users, and I would highly appreciate your feedback. So if this seems to be interesting to you, please don't hesitate to start using it, and if you encounter any issues, please just write on GitHub. So I hope you like this video, try this plugin out, comment what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.